What is going on, everybody? Jason here, bringing you an exciting video, at least exciting for me, because I picked up what is, in my opinion, one of the best amps ever freaking made. And we're going to do a full in-depth review on this. I've already done recordings. I've already mic'd this up and did some recordings on Reaper. And we're going to do some comparison in sounds. But this is a Peavey Stereo Chorus 212. I've seen these for sale so many times. I believe these came out in 1993. If you guys remember, those who have been subscribed to me for a while, I restored that Peavey Bandit, that Peavey 112 Bandit way back in Idaho. And this is just pretty much similar. It's just 212s, but this thing sounds absolutely freaking amazing. And like I said, I see these for sale all the time. But they're usually around, guys want $200 to $300 for them. I've seen them online used at Guitar Center, Guitar Center, Reverb, Music Overground, whatnot. Those are maybe around $200. This guy had this for sale for $75. So I hopped in my car, went over and picked it up. So let me flip the camera around and we'll take a close-up look at this. All right, here she is in all her splendor and glory. The Peavey Stereo Chorus 212. Now, there is one major drawback to this amplifier. She is extremely heavy. I actually tried to put this on my bathroom scale, and I couldn't fit it correctly on the scale, and I think this is around 60 to 80 pounds. It's a heavy beast. She's heavy. Now, we can go over the front here. You got a low, high gain input. Your standard volume. You got a switch for brightness. You can switch between the clean channel and your overdrive channels. Your clean channel, you got low, mid, high, and presence. Now this EQ will not work when you are using the overdrive. The voicing is what you use for the lead and the crunch. I had to figure that out. I kept trying to turn this and I'm like, when I had the amp on the crunch or the lead, these would not work, and I thought it was broken. But come to find out, you have to use the voicing, and the voicing, this is pretty much just bass and treble. That's all you get. And I'm a little let down on that, but it works. The distortion on here is not the best, but it's very clear. It's not harsh. And then you got your reverb, and all different types of reverb. This is not like a volume. You can adjust the level of reverb, and these are different types. And also with your chorus, you have a volume and then a depth where it's actually regular chorus and it goes almost all the way to a flange. Okay, on the reverse side, you got your power amps and outs on there. It doesn't look like it has an effects loop, which kind of sucks. I did get the foot switch for this, and I'll show you that in a moment because that's really cool. And then you got kind of your specs over here. Pretty powerful freaking... Sorry if I'm... Made in America. This is so old, it was made in America. And like I said, I got the original foot switch for it. You got a switch for tap this to change from lead to crunch. Click this to bypass all these so you got clean tone. And then click these if you want to add reverb and chorus. And all the LEDs still work. This whole thing works amazing. All right, I got the amp turned on. We're just going to mess around with some sounds. I'll show you what it sounds like. Obviously, you're listening to this on a cell phone. You're not going to get an exact true representation, but we will do our best. I've got the bright turned on. And when you're using the foot switch, you got to push your channel select in. So you're activating your crunch and gain. And like I said, look at this old ass foot switch. All the LEDs still work. So cool. So right now, there's just a total dry. We got the low up a little bit. right, now let's try some reverb on here. Very, very nice sounding reverb, and there's kind of a regular one. I'm also on drop D tuning, guys. So there is the, we'll turn off the reverb, we'll turn on the chorus. I don't know how well you guys can hear the effects on this over the phone, but I'm trying. See, when you turn it up, kind of get a flange on there. Kind of cool. We are going to show you some of... Alright, here's the crunch. Let's go to... Sorry. I think the input on the high gain jack's a little loose. I mean, this amp's like over 30 years old, so. Now we're in lead. Okay, next we are going to be running through this amp, your old school Metal Zone, which, you know what, if you don't like this, screw you. I love this pedal. And the thing I think that the reason why most people don't like this pedal is that a lot of times you're running it through an amp with speakers, the speakers just are not complementing the sound. This pedal sounds flippin' amazing through this amp. The distortion that comes on this amp, I'm not too impressed with. It makes a really good hard rock sound, but the distortion on this definitely is not the best for heavy metal. I mean, you can use it. It's definitely got an old school sound. But you run this, and again, this has the original Peavey Scorpion speakers. I think these speakers sound amazing, so we're gonna hook up this the Metal Zone. Okay, in my personal opinion, I think that Metal Zone pedal sounds amazing through this amp. I think it sounds really good. If you made it this far through the video, and I really hope you have, because this is the best part we're going to do. Now, I've mic'd up this amp twice, and we're going to do 4 comparisons here. And this is the other reasons why I'm absolutely in love with this amp. This has been the best sounding amp I've ever mic'd up. I had that Randall that I did a review of a while ago. I actually had a Peavey Valve King half stack in here that I never did a review on. That sounded okay. Of every amp that I've actually mic'd up to record, this sounds the absolute best. And I'm not saying it's just the amp. The Peavey Scorpion speakers are completely underlooked, underrated. These speakers sound freaking amazing and really gives you a nice old school sound, especially if you're looking for the old school scooped metal sound. These kind of really help with that. Now, what we're gonna do, I did 4 comparisons. First, so I have this little song, this snippet that I'm writing, okay? And it's gonna be a full song with drums, bass, and guitars. But each snippets, it's only gonna be like 20 or 30 seconds. So the first one, we are going to do the Auto 11, okay? Because that's my favorite amp sim, and that's actually what I mainly use on all my stuff is the Auto 11. We're gonna do that. Then we are going to do the Peavey mic'd up, just the distortion on the amp. Then we're gonna do a snippet of the Peavey with the Metal Zone going through it. And then the 4th and final one, we're gonna do a snippet of the Metal Zone combined with the Peavey just distortion. So the 4 tracks, I actually combined them. I did 2 tracks with the Metal Zone, 2 tracks with the Peavey, just the Peavey distortion. And when I combined them, I got the most amazing sound I've ever done miking up an amplifier. So there's going to be 4 of them, and I'm going to label it on the screen so you'll know. So here we go. Let me know, and then when that's over, I'll wrap this video up. Okay, you guys let me know in the comments section which sound you liked better. The Auto 11, just the Peavey amp, just the Metal Zone, or the Metal Zone combined with the Peavey. There's 4 of them. You guys let me know which one you liked best. Now, there's 2 main reasons I did this video is because I've seen this amp for sale a lot, and when I saw it for only 75 bucks, I went and YouTubed it real quick to look it up, and I've only seen about maybe 8 videos that are barely even worth watching about this amp. And for good reason. This is an old amp. I mean, who's going to go out and buy it? So I wanted to make this video and do an in-depth review about how badass this amp is. It's worth picking up if you can get it. Even at $200, this is a freaking steal of an amp. It's American made and it's still kicking after like 30 years. And the speakers still sound great. Those old Peavey amps sound really good. And anyway, I wanted to be pretty much the first one to do an actual real in-depth review, not just of playing the amp in front of you, but actually miking it up and seeing what kind of sound you can get. And for me personally, that's like the best sound that you guys just heard. That's the best sound I've ever got miking up an amp. And in case you're wondering, I'm using a Sennheiser mic to mic this up. So that's pretty much the 2 main reasons. I wanted to be the first to have an in-depth video and to also prove to you guys that you can get a badass sound with old gear. Like, everybody is out to get the newest and the greatest stuff. I'm a huge fan of Spectre Sound Studio. I watch Glenn Fricker all the time, and he is constantly preaching about saving money. And one of the best ways, I mean, find yourself an old Peavey amp. They freaking kick ass. Run a little distortion pedal through it. And there's so many different sounds you can get out there. Everyone's trying to get the newest and greatest thing, and you don't have to. I mean, even this, I got this for a killer deal. They don't even make this anymore. There's so many. I like to look for the old unique stuff, basically. Anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. I tried to do as in-depth as I could and also not overdo it at the same time. I absolutely love this amp and recommend it. It is fairly old. If you do try to look for these, make sure you test it out. I did have to clean some of the pots on here with alcohol. They were pretty staticky. Make sure you try it out and everything works first. It is an old amp, but so far this one works good and got the original foot switch for it. Ooh. So 75 bucks. I got a killer deal and I'm really happy about it. So anyway, leave your comments, suggestions, whatever you like to tell me, and let me know again what was your favorite soundbite, which sound did you prefer, and yeah, I guess that's it. I got nothing else. Thank you guys for watching. Metal till death, as always.